Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As you can see, I am not Floyd. My name is Jevum. I'm a good friend of Floyd's and currently hosting tonight's show. I have known Floyd for 4 years, and we met through today's topic, a person of interest, Patrick Marino. So, if you know him and you have any stories to share, you can reach out to Floyd. He has all types of contact information on how to get a hold of him. If you would like to share your story, please do so. I was around when Patrick, and it's like, how is she involved? I was around when Patrick first come on the scene. When he first hit mainstream and he got really popular. I worked for a whole week for free. He owes me over 60 hours of labor fees. And he's not really good about going through with his word. He's actually a scammer. And I am also going to bring up a bunch of guests. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to share our stories. We're going to show some receipts as to what type of character this man is. And he's a criminal. And we're going to prove it. We're going to show you. I'm going to read one or two of Floyd's emails that he sent me. He wanted me to share with you all because unfortunately he cannot be here tonight. He does have to work, but the show must go on, and that's what we're going to do. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up some people, and we're going to hear their verbal stories first, and then those that have receipts to show, we're going to hear those towards the end. Hello and welcome. Let's see. We have several people in here tonight. Let's say hello to our first comers, the Lone Wolf. Hello, good to see you. Amber Santana, good to see you. EDM, good to see you. Susan, good to see you. Let's see. And Robert, good to see you as well. Please share this out. Share the love. Okay. We're going to get everybody up here on stage. If I leave anybody out, holler at me. Let's see, do we have, well, no, we don't. We need Devon up here. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hello.
So let's see. I know three of you have receipts that you wanted to show. Deb, did you have a story or did you have receipts? I forgot.
Just a story. I don't have receipts.
Okay. All right. So Deb, Mike, and Paul are going to share with you their experience of with Patrick Marino, and then we're going to move to Susie and Divine. People have lost their livelihoods. People have lost their homes, and now there's other more horrible, nefarious things up on the line that is going to be brought up, I'm sure. So let's see. Who would like to go first? Mike, Deb, or Paul? Paul? Okay. We're going to get Paul up here front and center. Let's see. All right. Go for it, Paul. And now everybody else, you're still on stage and your comments or questions can be heard. But all right, Paul, it's your story.
Good evening, and thank you. This was kind of a little bit short notice, and by the way, my name is Paul. I'm from Northern Indiana, and this little bit of a testimony that I'm going to give you tonight reminds me of a incident that happened to me when I had my own business. There was a young kid that came in and vandalized some things, and the sheriff ended up getting hold of him and bringing him back to my place. And we had a little bit of a conversation. And the sheriff asked me what I would like to see happen with the young kid, pay for the damages or what else. I said paying for the damage is okay, and that would be honorable. But I said the main thing that I would like to see happen is that he would stop, because this kind of behavior is not acceptable. And that's why I'm here tonight. I'm not here because of any kind of animosity or hatred. I'm not here to trash talk anyone. I'm here because I've been privy to some behavior that is pretty much unacceptable by anybody's standards. We joined, my wife and I joined Lone Wolf Pack based on a recommendation from another group. And I've been on the journey of looking for truth and how to leave Babylon for a very long time. So this was of an interest to me. And when I joined, I started hearing some things that got my interest even more. And I've learned a few things in that experience. I think we were part of that group for I don't even remember, over a year. And I didn't lose any money there. I made some good friends there. And after a while, after being part of the Lone Wolf Pack group and being on the admin group there, I finally woke up to the fact that what he's doing is teaching stuff that he's not done himself. Okay, whether you charge $1 or $50 or $5 million, that is an issue, but it's not the main issue that I saw. The main issue that I saw is someone teaching stuff that he hasn't done, so he has zero results. The other thing I saw is someone who took zero accountability for what he's done. And I confronted him about that one day on a Telegram conversation or on the phone, I'm not sure which. And when I suggested that he take accountability is when things started going sideways. So my wife and I both left shortly after that. There was a lot of chaos and a lot of backstabbing. And here's the other thing I watched him do. I watched him throw a flaming arrow into the admin room and then sit back and watch while there was a whole bunch of confused people trying to put out the fire. A lot of this stuff all of it is about manipulation and control and diverting the accountability to someone else. So the main two things why I left is because he was, number one, he was teaching things that he hadn't done himself. He was just regurgitating stuff. And some of it was good. Actually, a lot of it was good. Some of it was very bad. But he hadn't done any of it, or very little of it. There was a lot of things that he was teaching he just hadn't done. There's no results to show. And then reason number two is he wasn't accountable. He was slippery. He dodged the accountability. So I left. My spouse and I both left. And it is what it is. But the reason I agreed to come on here tonight is because I've been privy to the fact that he's still damaging people in a major way. And I feel the same way about this as I did about the young kid vandalizing my business. He needs to be stopped. That's the ultimate goal. Repairing the damage that's been done, I don't know how that would be possible, but the number one thing to me is he needs to be stopped. And with that, have an amazing evening. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Let's see, let me get to where I can minimize you. It's not letting me minimize you. Hold on a second. Gonna have to add us all back up there. There we go. Now that's not gonna work. It's awful. There we go. Hello. Thank you very much, Paul. And I wanted to comment on the fact that you hit on a lot of cult tactics. And I would like to encourage people to do a lot of their own deep dives into cult type tactics and how these things kind of develop. Because a lot of people want to think that, oh, that could never happen to me, or I'm not in a cult. Well, you know, psychology shows that people will do what is called a cult hopping. So once they leave one cult, if they don't take time to kind of reflect on what they've been through, they will oftentimes go right back into a cult. Okay, hello, farm boy. Welcome. I wanted to ask you, are we missing anyone? I wanted to ask you if you had files to share with us tonight, because the way we're going to do it is we're going to do testimonies and then do file sharing. So did you have a testimony or files to share? Oh, farm boy, you are muted. Okay, so what we're going to do while farm boy, we wait for farm boy to answer. Deb, do you want to go ahead and share your story?
Sure, I can go ahead. I was just kind of waiting for my stepdaughter to join because that's kind of how.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I'm on your screen on the computer, but on the phone, I'm not on your screens. Oh, now I am. Let me mute.
Okay, I wanted to know, farm boy, did you have a testimony or files to share?
I can't hear nothing.
I wanted to know, farm boy, did you have a testimony or files to share?
No, in my particular situation, what happened was he was selling a big batch, and so what I did was I reached out to him. I liked what he was saying, and a lot of people was talking the same talk. April Lejeune was, Yusufel was, a whole bunch of different people were talking the same talk. But I liked his particular approach. The problem I had with what was going on was he gave me this big spiel about everything he was going to send to me and give me and all this stuff. And it didn't happen. And something about a trust and but what I got with him, I only talked to him like 3 times and maybe 4, but he kept saying, just do this, you got this, you already know. And that wasn't cutting it, because I went all in. When he said do it, I gave him the whole $5,500 and said, hey, let's make this thing happen. And it turned out I ended up on a phone call because with him, and Divine Nine was kind of an intermediary type situation there. It wasn't she didn't have anything to do with it. She was just, hey, he don't accept personal calls. Let me get him on the phone for you, that kind of thing. And JC got him on the phone. And he was pretty. Now, don't get me wrong. I can cuss like a sailor. I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps. I know how to cuss. What happened? But anyways, he started cussing me like he owned me. Can you turn it up? Am I still on? No, wow. I can't hear nothing.
I can hear you.
So, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, he gets on the phone and he has a little bit. He copped a Napoleon syndrome on me, like he was a little feller, and I was like, "Hey, son, that ain't no call for that." And I said, "Here's the deal." I said, "I give you $5,500. You ain't done a damn thing but run your mouth. You haven't helped me with nothing, provided me with nothing. I couldn't even navigate his stinking video thing where you could get on his platform and look at his videos." And I kind of got the impression all he really wanted to be was a guy who made videos on Pomeroy. And I don't have a problem with Pomeroy. Those talks were very interesting. But I only got to see a couple of them because I could never figure out how to continuously navigate that stupid site. But when he got on the phone and started cussing me, I said, hey, you listen here, you little shit. I said, we can solve this. I said, you ain't give me nothing. I have not used anything of yours. I don't owe you anything. I said, just send me my money back. We'll call it good. And then he went off on a tangent about something about it was a donation to his ministry. I was like, no, that was more of a con artist sort of thing. It's kind of what I got out of it. I sort of felt like he was just a little, he was a little bit of a con artist sort of feller. And I wasn't very impressed with all that. So after a pretty heated exchange, I told him to piss off. I said, you just be who you say you are. I said, you just stay with your so-called clean hands and you keep that money. I said, and I'll just write you off as a learning experience. I said, but I said, well, I'm done with you. I said, you didn't do nothing but take my money and run your mouth and run off somewhere. I said, so that's the end of that garbage. I was putting up with that shit from nobody. But that was just, my experience with him wasn't very good. And I didn't talk to him but a couple times. And he didn't provide me a stinking thing of any value I could see. And he couldn't even explain it to me with, you would think for $5,500, a guy would sit down with you and make a couple hours at a time to say, hey, let me walk you through these steps, these procedures. Let me help you. Here's the reason why. Here's what you're looking for. Here's the outcome. Here's the goal. Oh, no. No, I only had him on the phone about 10 minutes at a time, I think, and I only talked to him 3 or 4 times at best. But my opinion was he had figured out a way to get money out of people through a church program, and really what he needs is a big old dose of the IRS run up his ass. But that's just my opinion. But I didn't fool with him. I didn't run him down nowhere. I didn't make videos on him. I didn't call him out. I mean, he's just a little weasel in my opinion, and I just kind of wrote him off as a little weasel.
Right. Thank you very much for your story. That's pretty devastating, and that's a lot of money, but who knows how much he's actually got away with scamming and drifting off of people. Yes.
Vivian,
welcome, Jessica.
Can I build a little bit off of what Farm Boy said, because I was on that last call? So the last call with Farm Boy, Patrick had ran across a video of Farm Boy making of common law, and he called me right away and said, you get that mother effer on the phone. And I'm like, why? He's like, I'm teaching him equity. That's not equity, what he's posting on his TikTok. And I'm like, all right, hold on. And now I was very shaky every time he would call me, flipping out, because he's just it's like a drill sergeant. If anybody knows Patrick, he's like a drill sergeant. So anytime he said something, I would jump, like, oh my God, So I called Farm Boy really quick on the phone, and I said, hey, Patrick wants to talk to you. I'm going to merge you. And he said, okay. So I merged him on a call, and he's like, yo, you're going to do exactly what the fuck pardon my French, the F I tell you to do. Farmer was like, wait, what are you talking about? I paid you $5,500. And Patrick's like, I don't give a crap what you paid me. You're going to do it my way or I'm not helping you. And, you know, your situation is going to stay the same.
Wow.
And that's basically how it went down. So just wanted to add a little bit because I was a witness to that call. And I tried to always maintain the calmness anytime there was any confrontation with Patrick, because that happened a lot. And I'm just not a confrontational person. So maintaining those relationships with everybody was important to me. While he was damaging relationships, I was maintaining them. So I just wanted to add that in really quick.
Okay, thank you for that. And it's
You're
very
welcome.
interesting how it seems like there's a like Paul said, it's like throwing in the golden apple. I forgot which Greek mythos it is, but the one girl that did not get invited to the party throws the golden apple, and it just causes discordia, chaos all over. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Deb, you said you were waiting on something to get your story started.
Well, I was waiting on Jess to get on because that's kind of how we got started. For me,
Okay.
so Jess is my stepdaughter, as most people who have had the pleasure of talking to us on here. No, she was going through a foreclosure on her house and a bankruptcy and some other things going on. And for me, I don't have the money to help her, but I had started this journey before. And a lot of people think you're not when you start talking about it. But Patrick kind of popped up on my feed one day, and I reached out and said, "Do foreclosure stuff with foreclosures and
Turn it
homes
up so I can hear it.
about
You're
sell the note."
breaking up real bad. Deb,
Hear me now?
you're breaking up real bad.
I can hear this one in the corner up here, but I can't hear the
Yeah,
other.
I can hear an echo too.
Yes.
So she has some pretty remote reception. You know, she's pretty remote. So it comes and goes.
Oh, okay.
So let's just try to
Okay.
be patient, bear with her and see if it
Okay.
restores.
All right. I didn't know. Go ahead, Deb. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jess and I kind of came in this together, and it was because she was going through a foreclosure. And Patrick had promised he could help with this, and he would have the attorney bawling in court and all these kind of things. And we started seeing some things on here that was concerning. Getting any help from him was getting to be harder and harder, so to speak. And for me, the only money I lost was my half of what I was paying for the classes. And I'm kind of like Paul. I did learn some things, but I also became frustrated with the way he was teaching things because they were very incomplete. Teach you part of it, but never show you the rest of it, kind of things. But for her, it had gotten a lot worse. And so if she's able to get on there and tell you that, that's kind of her part of the story. I kind of got kicked out of the class because she didn't answer him on what he thought she should answer. And then by the time she did, we were just both kicked out. So she
And
really
they were
lost
kicked
the
out
majority
because
of the
I
money.
left the group.
Yeah, I'm
Say
on.
that-
I don't know how to turn the camera around.
Say that again, JC. I didn't hear.
Yeah, so I was on that initial call with Deb also before Jess came in, her stepdaughter. I was on that initial call too. So Patrick, I think I called you first, right, Deb?
Yes.
And I merged Patrick. Yeah. So people would reach out to him through TikTok, and I would then call them and speak to them a little bit about how he could assist, which I thought he really could assist because I put a lot of faith in him. I'll get into more of my story later, But when I had Deb on the phone, after speaking to her for a few minutes, I called Patrick and let him know, hey, I have Deb on the phone. This is what's going on. And we merged the call. So during that call, he promised, hey, you know, I'll be able to assist no matter what. This is easy. We can have this wrapped up in 30 days. No problem. And I wasn't on the call with Jessica, though. Not the first call with Jess, only with Deb. So go ahead, Jess.
Okay, you can hear me? I'm sitting funny. My chair's way down and my camera's up. Okay. Yeah, we met him on December 26th, the day after Christmas. And he told me I needed to get a trust. And if I got a trust, I could move all my stuff into the trust and it would be safe. Nobody could touch it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't remember the first day we talked to him. Maybe within that week. Within that week, we started talking to him. And he's like, well, if you send me $2,500, it'll pay for the trust and we'll move forward. And I'm like, well, it's a lot of money. And if I lose $2,500, you know, it's my bill money, blah, blah, blah. So December 26th, we decided to send the $2,500 for the trust. We sent it. And then we proceeded to pay for classes on June the 12th. And then sometime in January 12th. And then sometime in January, I was told that I had to pay $300 a month for classes. And I said, that's fine. He's like, you paid a lot of money. You can pay me $300 a month and not a big deal. So we proceeded to pay for classes. And in the meantime, I was told that I had to pay $350 an hour to talk to him. So my first conversation, February the 5th, I paid $350 for a meeting for an hour. And then that was about paperwork that he had given me and stuff we were doing. But up until this time, he was at the dog park and everywhere else. And he would take the time to talk to you up until when he got the money. And then it just kind of seemed like he wasn't there anymore. And then JC was the only one helping us. And we realized, wow, there's like 50, 60 people in this class. She's helping a lot of people. You know, it's not just you and your problems. You know, there's a lot of people. So I didn't have the money, but I needed to talk to him. So I said, will you talk to me for a half an hour? So I paid him for a half an hour and then we paid for classes. And he actually got smart with me and said I wasn't on time for paying for classes. And I said, well, I didn't realize there was a time. I was just sending the $300 within the same month. So that was, he said, well, would you like a damn receipt or whatever? And I was like, well, I don't really need a receipt or anything. I just didn't know there was a certain day to pay for it. And then, we got into, it was about March or April. I have a March payment, March 24th. I paid $300. And then again on April the 5th, I paid $600 because he got me on the phone and he demanded all the money for classes up front. I was like, well, that's not really possible. If I sell something because I'm a farmer, I will send you money. So I sent $600 on April the 5th. So it looks like we're into $4,525 to him. And like she said, she did pay for classes, but I had paid him the rest of the money. But like I said, to even speak to him about what he was doing or about his own paperwork, it was JC takes care of that. And all along, I asked for a meeting, you know, for the first trust study, and you know what I mean? It just never come about. And he sent me an email that said I had a decision to make since JC left and I had went to her group. Then all of a sudden I had a decision to make. And we were filing court cases and stuff that day. So, or actually we did a bank inspection, I think, and we were coming home from it. That's what it was. And we were in the kitchen and Deb says, well, my gosh, she said, he deleted me from the group until you answer him. I was like, well, isn't that kind of crazy? Because he was just on the phone. Like it was 9 a.m. We didn't get home till like 1.
Wow.
So no, I didn't answer him. Oh. So it wasn't pressing, right? I guess it was. So it was the fact that we didn't answer him. So she got deleted from the group and blocked. So I'm like, oh, wow, we're all about to get blocked anyhow. You know what I mean? I said, because I'm going to go with JC. I said, because she's the only person that had stepped up and helped us for how many months here, right? 5 months, 4 months, 5 months.
Yep.
Yeah. And I helped them try to comprehend the paperwork that Patrick would create for them. Yep. Because I was learning with them, you know, I was learning with them and I was able to work alongside him. So I had a little more maybe knowledge than the new members did. So, you know, I made myself very available to all of them because I'm still in that place. I'm still dealing with my own issues. But it was like a family, you know. To me, they were family. To him, they were money. So it was like oil and water, right?
Well, we talked to him on the phone that time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, take your time, no worries. You know, it's no big deal. Go ahead and send money when you have it. You know." And then like you text me, and you're like, "Oh, do you have his money?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness," you know what I mean? I didn't even get a chance to say anything yet, and then after you left and you explained things, it was like, huh, but that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, and just for the record, I want to clarify that I did give Patrick notice when I left his group.
Yep.
I didn't give anybody any reasons why. I just said I was going to continue my journey. That I encouraged everybody to be mindful and to discern, and that I love them all, and it was time for me to go my own way. I have my group. I don't charge anybody. We study together because I ran trust studies on Tuesday nights. So I wanted to continue that for people in case he did start forcing people out. So
I think I'm going to talk to Floyd about how many people's needed to start a class action lawsuit, because that's the first thing that has popped into my head. We need to see about a class action lawsuit for this situation, because this has been going on for 4 years. I was the first mod, the first secretary, the first student, whatever you want to call it, when he went mainstream. And the reason I removed myself from his first Telegram group was because there was all kinds of procedures. There was all kinds of information just getting thrown everywhere. And I'm like, you know, if this is not right, how do you know this is right? Like, this is your group. You're liable for the information that's being shared within your group, Patrick. And
yeah,
he's like, well, we want everybody to have, you know, access to everything. And I'm like, I cannot be a part of that because, you know, I didn't know enough about anything to be dealing with things that started to feel very shady, you know. So I think a class action lawsuit is something that I would like to look into and talk to Floyd about.
Well, I will tell you the stuff that I put on record. The judge made his decision the other day to take.
What I can't really figure out is the whole clean hands doctrine. How does he move forward with what he does under the concept of the clean hands?
What you said earlier, he's a con man.
Well, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I remember when he first charged like $50 an hour, and then a day or two later, oh, that's not enough money. He wanted 100, or he wanted more. And then you said, Jessica, $350 an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, $350 an hour.
Just to kind of close that loop, Jess, will you finish your sentence there? Just the other day, based on his paperwork, the judge did what?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. What does it say?
They're still reading off of his paperwork, even though I'm working with somebody else. We did put some new stuff on the record, and this was supposed to be taken off the record. But the judge clearly did not read the new stuff, and he read off of Patrick's stuff. And the 9th day of July, I was denied and the bank was granted for writ of seizure. So on Monday, I get to
of what? Seizure of what?
My home and equipment.
This is what Patrick helped you to try.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. It was granted. I don't know how to do all that, but yeah, it was granted. So like I said, on Monday, I get the pleasure of staying up tonight, and tomorrow, so Monday, Tuesday, I go and put something else on to force them to read what I put on July 2nd that they did not read. Force them to read what I put on July 2nd that they did not read.
He really does have small man syndrome. He's 5'4".
He's
No,
not
that's
5'4". He's about 5'2.5".
Oh,
I mean, that guy, man. I'm just
Oh
being a
my
smart
God.
ass. But turns out, how about that?
Oh
Like,
goodness.
like I told Jess, sometimes we have to go down the wrong road to get to the right path. So I'm thankful for where we are now and the people that we've met and the people that are helping us. Um,
Mhm.
I think we're in
And
a place now. At least you can get some clarity and some direction.
you don't have to pay him by the hour to talk to you.
Oh my gosh. All right. Mike, you want to go ahead with your story?
sure, I was introduced to Patrick by one of these Facebook groups. He had reached out to me. I told him I was dealing with a violent crime that I needed help with, and I knew I could beat it. I needed some guidance, and I didn't even know what equity was. So I mean, that's how out of the loop I am when it came to this. So I said, so that being said, back in December, I ended up getting a phone call from JC, and they seemed to know what they were talking about, and they seemed to have some compassion of what the expectations were, how they're going to help, and it felt really comfortable. And I was like, I remember one of the questions I asked him was something about, how do I know that you are not going to just run off with my money as soon as I give it to you? And oh, I'm sure, he gives me that bro talk, whatever. And I usually don't fall for that type of stuff, but he catches people in a vulnerable situation. And I was very vulnerable and very, I was trying to I had to trust somebody. And luckily I did. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was talking to Susan about this, as I'm grateful for this loss I took because it brought me into the circle of people I needed to be around. Because that's how I truly learned not just equity, but more of the law and how to explain the law and how to break down the law in my favor to be able to beat my case. So that being said, Patrick had me doing all this stuff, this telling me I needed to go do subrogation, all this stuff. And if it wasn't for JC teaching me how to like write the paperwork, because he wasn't certainly doing it. I mean, I truly owe that to JC that she kind of guided me to how to write the paperwork, and then I started figuring it out for myself. Once I seen a few documents made, I started like digging in, and then I noticed I was coming to class every week, and my biggest issue with his classes was we were just consistently doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's not like we ever moved to the next step. And it was always about this stupid name change. And and it seemed like, and no one could figure this out. I mean, and I'm not blaming people. I just think it was his teaching. And then why we were doing it. And we had to watch these stupid videos. And it was like, it was all this pouring on information, and it's like I wasn't even understanding why we were doing this, and that was a big issue with me too. Until I was doing all my research about it, because I was looking at very serious charges, so I needed to get out of my situation, and I knew my situation was beatable and unfair and unjust. So I was very strict on reaching out to any resources, and thank God that JC had those trust classes, because that brought in all these other people's different minds and different experiences and different ways they approach the law. And they really, truly helped me break it down, because I was always in there asking questions. But the main thing I was also noticing was that some of these people were doing where they were contradicting what Patrick was teaching. So now I'm super confused on what I was doing. And I remember reaching out to JC, and I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm trying to put my faith in this guy, and this guy is setting me up for failure to where the judge hates my guts now. And luckily it's worked out in my favor pretty much, but at the same time, it aggravated the court. and when it didn't need to be aggravated. And that was due to what he was telling us to put on the record and what we were supposed to say on the record. And he wasn't really teaching us nothing. And those stupid classes we were doing every Sunday, I was looking forward to the Tuesday classes, not those stupid Sunday classes he would have had us doing for 4 hours of nonstop garbage he gave us. And it was never informative. It seemed like it was just always repetitive. And then it seemed like no one could figure it out. And that's the basics of my testimony. You know, he got me for $5,500. And my main goal is not to really, I would like my money back, but if I can just stop other people from getting robbed by this man, that would be the blessing I would want. And that's my testimony.
I fully agree. Yeah, I think you're all being very brave, because if he has anyone that he's aligning their coffers to, the threat of gang stalking, bullying, charging in, like if you're trying to do a live stream. One time me and Floyd went up against him and talked about him, and Floyd just got flooded. Floyd says, I will assist anyone with your financial institution to get you your money back. Hey, Floyd, I was talking about maybe a class action lawsuit. I'm not sure how many people is required for one of those, but yeah. It says, hey, Patricia. All right. Floyd, since you are here, which email would you like me to go over first with everyone? Civil Rico. All right. If that's what it's called. Yep. Okay.
And just to build off of what Mike said, I did trust studies, so I don't have a trust class. We study together. So Tuesday nights we studied. We would open up Henry Gibson, Pomeroy, and we would read through the books instead of going off of an AI generated class that Patrick would play. So I would open up the books and read with them so they can comprehend what it is, what the proceedings, what the practice is, what it looked like to create a bill in equity.
That was so beneficial too. And then all the other stuff that, all the other testimonies and people's experiences were really beneficial for our class or our study hour together. And I learned more in the Tuesdays than I did even wasting my time going on to the Sunday classes.
That's what happened when we were doing the study group when I was still there, and people started calling it a class because there was actual learning and comprehension going on while we studied together, and we were all really working well together, and none of it aligned with anything he ever said or wanted everybody to focus on.
No, I mean, it was just contradicting one after another. And I remember this guy, Cool Fox, coming on there. And that's when I really started noticing, like, we didn't need to change our name. We didn't need to do all this extra running around and bull crap that we were dealing with. So it was very frustrating. I learned a lot. There's some things I wish I hadn't done, but at the same time, I did it. And I did it. I'm very good at following directions. So when he told me to do something, I did it. And I was getting frustrated because I wasn't able to move to the next step. So I never got a trust. I didn't beat my case with him. My case is still actually ongoing. And but I know it's going to win. I know I'm going to win. But it has nothing to do with what he put together. It had stuff that when I started studying with other people who started helping me beat my case, that I was able to figure things out, and things started making more sense. Even even my girlfriend, she says she couldn't even stand the Sunday classes, and she would prefer the Tuesday study hour, even though she couldn't make it because she's going to school for her own stuff. She was like, "Just send me only the recordings for the Tuesday Trust class, and not the Sunday crap, because I don't need that stuff because it's all repetitive." It seemed like we never talked about nothing but the name change, and no one else could figure it out. I did my name change with major pending charges, and I still got my name changed with no issue. So I didn't understand why people were struggling with this. I mean, I don't want to judge people, but I just noticed that people were. I did not comprehend what he was talking about, and I barely comprehended. I just did step by step, and that was another thing he didn't like us knowing. Like, what was the next step? What was the next step? What's the next step? And it's like, and he's like, don't worry about strategy talk and whatever. I was like, I just need to know what the heck I need to do so I can knock out 3 or 4 things at once, instead of like you tell me to do one thing, I go do it, and then I got to go back again when I could have knocked it out that same day. That was another thing that was super frustrating he was doing. It's like, dude, give me everything I need to know, and then I'll check back in with you, you moron.
Do you remember how he told us to talk to everybody and we were all blocked from each other?
I didn't have that issue. I was communicating with almost everybody in there. So I don't know how you guys got blocked.
On Sunday, I tried to talk to somebody, you were blocked.
No, I didn't have issues with that. I was talking to a bunch of people.
Hey, Floyd.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
I'm on my break. I'm at the George R. Brown Convention Center in grand old Houston, Texas, and we are doing the loadout for DreamCon, which apparently is a pretty big show. So anyway, Buffy, thank you very much for doing this. Everybody on the panel, I probably don't know who you are, haven't met you. If I have, thank you for coming. Everybody that I haven't met, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. I will assist anybody. If you paid Patrick with a debit card, credit card, through your bank, through Zelle, any, doesn't matter, Cash App, PayPal, I will do an affidavit. Since I teach trust classes, I publish 15 trust books. I have a lot of weight behind my affidavits. I have assisted other people who were in the Lone Wolf Pack get their money back. Absolutely. So I will do that. I've been getting ready to do the RICO class for everybody. I want to teach everybody how to do a civil RICO. We can all sit down, do it together. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page when y'all file it all at one time, because not only are you going to be filing against Patricia Morano, the legal Morano, she's a legal moron. She always will be. And because of her size, I can almost guarantee you she got turned out in Colorado State Prison. And she's a punk. So, yeah. I can almost guarantee you that. That's why she's so terrified of going back to prison or getting arrested. And that's why she actually climbed over one of her admins to get out of the driver's seat when the cops were behind him. So anyway, that's a whole nother story somebody else can tell. But yeah, I'm going to help everybody, teach you how to do a civil RICO. We're going to file this against Patrick Marino and Todd Duell because he's ripped people off for at least $500,000. Must be nice to be able to go to a dealership in Hawaii and buy a Porsche and a Corvette all in one swap, right? That's what these people are doing to you. Wow. Okay. Obviously, I'm not stealing because I'm at work. This is where I'm at. This is what I do. This is my profession. And I am a professional at doing this. I just showed y'all a little bit of the background back there. I'm sure y'all saw the World Cup insignia stuff. That's where I'm working sometimes. But I'm all over the place. And I'll be in Dallas doing the FIFA out as well. I may go to other cities. It's 11 other cities, or actually 10 other cities in the United States. So no telling where I will be. I'm ducking and dodging people. And this is where I'm at. This is my room. And today we are rigging. And 102 points we're taking down. So I just want to thank everybody, let you know that, hey, this is an authorized show because I've never had another person step in and host for me. So again, Buffy, thank you for doing that. You're doing a great job. I'm going to listen in the background. I just caught in on the, right before I popped on. I didn't realize what time it was. So Y'all keep going. Go as long as you want. If y'all want to do 5 hours and discuss everything, y'all want to set up a strategy, y'all are more than welcome to join the private Telegram group that we have going. I don't know if you've informed all of them of that, Buffy. But what we're trying to do is put a group together like all yourselves. And once you all do affidavits, because I count, 8 people on here. And I know there's more than that. And if y'all all do affidavits and submit them to the Department of Justice, we can probably get this fool locked up in state and federal charges.
Yeah, there's more.
And
That's what I want.
That would be nice.
yeah. Oh yeah, his ass is grass. You don't even know that.
In the one room of JC's, I've already put together a whole package with affidavits that folks can just fill in their information, their amounts, this and that and the other. And so they're welcome to use those, or you and I can collaborate on fine tuning something even better.
All right. Well, I got to roll. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Floyd.
Good night.
If y'all want trust books, trust classes, Anne's published a whole new handful of books on trust. I don't even know what she's done because I've been so busy. So, yeah, go check out the fearlessfloydshow.com website and see what we have available. Anne has her own website as well for those who just can't stomach the Fearless Floyd Show and my topics and my guests. So, thank you and good night, everybody. I'll be listening in the background.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Don't work too hard, Floyd.
Oh, I never work too hard, girl. And if I figure out how to get out of here.
Let's see. Hold on. There we go. I wanted to hit on what EDM Panda said because he almost went to jail. Yeah, the drift in the beginning was the W2 sandwich. And it's one thing I've noticed with these cult leaders is they clamp on to an idea or a drift, and that's kind of the common denominator that they will stay on. And like you were saying, Mike, well, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Well, he didn't have it. He didn't have it. He was just trailing everyone along with the breadcrumbs. And that is also very classic of cult activity.
It was very frustrating too, because it's like, I wasn't dealing with a mortgage thing. I wasn't dealing with some of these, like these people, other people were dealing with, and the other members were dealing with. I was dealing with my own specific situation, and I was like, I need something else. Where's the class for what I need? And don't you have anything else that that I could watch, personally? And there's this one video that he had put maybe I don't know, 30 minutes, I think, before one of his little videos that he had. Yeah, and he had tailored it to me, but I was never able to watch it again. And I begged him for that first audio that he had supposedly only did for me. And I remember watching it. It had something to do with what I was dealing with, but I was never able to watch it again. He would not give me the access to it. No one could find it. I asked JC for it. She was like, I can't find it nowhere. And I remember asking Doug, if you guys know who Doug is. No one could find this recording. It was like it just disappeared and he couldn't even find it. And that was very frustrating because that was the only video that he had made that was pertained to my situation. And because I wasn't dealing with mortgages, and I wasn't dealing with other situations that people were dealing with in our group that were a little more common for his situation. Because a lot of people were in there for mortgages and they're losing their houses or their businesses and stuff like that. And I'm not dealing with that. I'm about to lose my life, And he wasn't really helping me with that, and that was very irritating. But that didn't stop me from figuring things out for my own, because with the help of people like Susan that woke me up on some stuff with JC, and there's a guy named Ryan, and this guy named Chief that was helping me, and even this guy named Matt that was helping me with a lot of stuff. And I really appreciate a lot of these people that were taking the time out of their busy schedules to help me when I didn't have much to give them, because Patrick took a lot of my money. So I was very in a vulnerable state still. But
Yeah.
God bless that.
I don't charge
That's
for
evil.
information because information's free. Nobody's charging me to go out there and look for it and get it and decide to educate myself. So I don't charge people to talk with me and to give them enlightenment and truth and a pathway forward that they could carry themselves through. Lots of people do charge, and I understand time, money, and whatnot, but I've always had a troubling thought about that, the way that he would charge $250 and $350 an hour, and he would sit and chat, and you had 30 minutes to get through trying to get information from him, and he would just piss the time away and not give you a single answer, and then end up yelling at you because he had to get going. He had another call coming in,
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just think that the information highway is there for all of us. And, this dude's selling theories. He's plagiarizing things that are on attorneys' websites and everywhere else. And I mean, information's free, right?
Yep. And capitalizing on the needs and desperation of others that do not have as much information
I cannot
as
hear
he
anybody.
has. Can you hear me okay? Are you all able to hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay, good. It's storming really bad around me. You might see lightning in the background through the door. So if we lose connection, that's why, and I apologize. So I want to go ahead and get into one of Floyd's, maybe two of his, and then we can get into Divine and Susie. You all have some stuff for us to look at too. Let's see. I keep trying to use a mouse on the computer that doesn't go to. Okay, not that one. Where are we?
I keep seeing somebody that's watching a question, and they've asked it a few times. What did he go to jail for? It depends on what time that you're referring to.
I think he's referring to this time right here. I'm not sure, but I think Floyd said, let's see. Copycat and Fearless Floyd. That's why. I'm not really sure. Floyd, if you're listening and you can throw in a thing there. If you can't or don't cite your authority, you have none. Right. You have to come with receipts. Trying to get this to share. I don't know why this one is. Let's see. Let me remove it so I can add this one and get into Floyd's email. This was forward message from Patrick Moreno to Floyd Tarvin, Tuesday, March 24th. That's when he sent it to me. Is that when it was sent to Floyd? Yeah, I guess it was. All right, that was sent March of this year. Yeah. Notice of active Colorado court order Marino versus Floyd Tarvin IV. Case number, immediate action required. Floyd Tarvin. You are hereby given formal notice that a civil lawsuit has been filed against you in the El Paso County District Court, State of Colorado, Division 14, before the Honorable Hillary Gurney District Court Judge. Case is Patrick Marino versus Floyd Tarvin IV, Kevin Kaffa, aka Kevin Russell, Ruffa, and John Doe. DBA Intricity, case number 2026 CV110, Court of El Paso County District Court Division 4. 270, I guess it's South Ijun Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado 80903. And the Honorable Judge Hillary Gurney. A temporary restraining order is currently in effect against you. On March 20th, 2026 at 11:33 a.m., Judge Hillary Gurney entered a signed temporary restraining order, TRO. In this section, the TRO is attached to this email. You are bound by this order from the moment you receive actual notice of it, which is the moment you read this email. The trio requires you to do the following immediately. Stop publishing, republishing, reposting, or otherwise disseminating the following statements or any statement substantially similar to them: that Patrick Marino scammed or stole from a disabled veteran, that Patrick Marino took $2,500 from Kevin Rafa and provided nothing in return, that Patrick Marino promised a trust product and then refused to provide it while going silent or giving only crickets, that Patrick Marino obtained Kevin Rafa's documents for blackmail, leverage, hostage taking, or other improper purposes, that Patrick Marino was running the same scam on other people in the same manner, or any statement substantially similar to the above. Remove, make private, unlist, or otherwise disable public access to the following content immediately: YouTube video titled substantially "A Legal Moron Stealing from Disabled Veteran" at, and that is the link right there. Any other video, live stream, or audio content on your YouTube channel or any other platform that contains the prohibited statements identified above, including but not limited to the March 16, 2026 live stream featuring Kevin Rafa. Preserve, do not delete, alter, or destroy all original video and audio files, transcripts, direct messages, emails, monetization records, analytics, upload logs, and account identification, information related to the challenged publications pending further order to the court. Violation of this court order is contempt of court. Contempt of a court order can result in fines, sanctions, and other penalties imposed by the court. You are bound by this TRO regardless of whether you have been formally served with the complaint, because you now have actual notice of the order. Under Colorado Rule of Civil Procedure 65D, actual notice of an injunction is sufficient to bind a person to its terms. A preliminary injunction hearing has been set. The court has scheduled a preliminary injunction hearing for April 3rd, 2026 at 11 a.m. Division 4, El Paso District Court, 270 South Dijon Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado 80903. You have the right to appear at this hearing and present your position. If you do not appear, the court may enter a preliminary injunction against you in your absence. You are being sued. To achieve verified complaint sets forth claims against you for defamation per se, business, disparagement, international interference with prospective business relations, and related claims. Plaintiff is seeking monetary damages exceeding $100,000, as well as permanent injunctive relief. You have 21 days from the formal service of the complaint and summons to file a written answer or other response with the El Paso County District Court. Failure to respond may result in a default judgment entered against you for all relief demanded. Documents attached to this email. Signed temporary restraining order, Judge Hillary Gurney, March 20th, 2026. Verified complaint filed March 16th, 2026. Verified emergency rule 65 motion with exhibits A1 through F filed March 17th, 2026. Declaration of Patrick Marino filed March 17th, 2026. Summons case number 2026 CV110. This email constitutes formal notice of the pending action and the active court order. Please govern yourself accordingly. Patrick Marino, per se plaintiff, Marino and versus Tarvin IV, Ital case, and it goes into the case again. So this is the file. And then this is what he sent. Let's see. All the best. And I solemnly charge you in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus and of his chosen angels to maintain these principles without bias, doing nothing in the spirit of partiality. 1 Timothy 5:2. We will know by this that we are of the truth and will assure our hearts before him in whatever our heart condemns us. For God is greater than our heart and knows all things. That's 1 John 3:19 through 20 in confidential mail. And here is the video that that I was just reading about. If you all wanted to go see that, I can open it, and I'll probably do that. And I'm going to put the link of this email in the chat for everyone and for posterity records. Okay. I'm going to go back. Let's see. How do I get out of here? Get out of this one. There we go. I'm going to go back to the next one from Floyd as the follow-up. I think that's the same one. I'm sorry, you all. I'm looking over this. This looks like the same one I just read. James, I love it from Lone Wolf. Not Lone Wolf. What does he go by?
His name's Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf. There we go. Bad Wolf. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to read that. Let's see. I want to get back to the comments too. Most people contract themselves in peril. They are allowed to do so. He's unreal. Yes. No such thing as exclusive equity. It is the biggest scam. He is ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. From Bad Wolf.
Real quickly, Jevin, I just want to give an update on this case that you just read from. So that TRO, there's the devil's in the details, right? So a TRO expires 14 days after issuance. So that TRO is long gone. The next step is to have this hearing. April 3rd was the scheduled hearing, is what I heard you read. And I verified that on the docket. However, the moving party, Patrick Marino, didn't show for the hearing. And so the judge then put it kindly under a review, scheduled it for review. There's been several reviews. He's been unable to bring forward just the basic threshold things that he would need for this case to move forward and to prove these allegations. He's been unsuccessful in doing that so far. So the most recent activity on this is that the judge issued in the state of Colorado, what this is it's called a prevention delay order. And that means basically shit or get off the pot. You're not wasting our time. And you haven't brought anything viable forward. So we're going to have an order to move this off the docket. So his response to that was he filed a motion to invoke equity, as if equity doesn't exist in the law already, because it does. So motion to invoke equity, motion to invoke substitute service, response to the judge's delay prevention order, and et cetera and so on. But the judge did put on her review that it's ineffective service. No matter what he's trying, it's just, it hasn't stuck. He's just like a monkey throwing shit on a wall waiting for something to stick. So there's been other cases that he's filed there and he's lost most of them, including his name change. Just got denied. So
well, that's good to know. It's good to know. Because in a way, it's like violating freedom of speech to try, and it's damage control. It to me, I see just major damage control. And if he can't even be there to back up, like, why even go through all this trouble unless it's constant fear tactics, right? Damage control and using these things as a way to intimidate, coerce, manipulate.
And just so that we can all wrap our minds around the facts here of why does he do the little trail and of breadcrumbs? And because he's a revenue generator. He is no teacher. He is not knowledgeable in the things that he's convincing people that he's knowledgeable of, any more than the cult leader that had everybody waiting for Halley's Comet to go over, and he convinced all the men to castrate themselves, drink poison, die, and wait for this comet to come save them all and bring them, to somewhere else. So he's exactly the same kind of individual as that cult leader, in my opinion. And so the reason he has to create revenue like that is so when he wants to stir the shit pot like he did on that case, he can invest $500.50 just to get it started and pay the courts. The ones that he keeps on telling everybody that he's going to teach you how to stay out of and how to beat and how it's not going to cost anything and just go in equity, in personam. And he's not doing any of the things that he instructs people to do. Because why? Because he knows what he's instructing is insufficient and it doesn't work. It's a lie. So he paid $500 to initiate that case. And there's several others. The RV park that evicted him, he just lost on that one. He filed a lawsuit against the El Paso County Clerk of Court and all of the attorneys that are there, like under the roof, defending this clerk of court. He just lost that one. There's several of them. So I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that somebody that's that knowledgeable about how to help people win court cases or any kind of troubles that they have, legal troubles that they have, you would think that he could pull something like that off in a simple TRO case, but he can't because he doesn't know anything. So with that, I'll mute.
And well, in my opinion, he just needs to be able to know enough to get a lot of money out of a lot of people. And this has been going on that I know of, that I've been involved with for 4 years. That's a long time, and it's very interesting to me, these apps with these groups where you can create a very interesting echo chamber and almost like a hive mind. And if you have this leader, you're going to idolize them. The leader doesn't have to tell people to protect him. People will just do it. He doesn't have to really enforce a lot of things because it's part of that hive mind mentality. You just want to protect him, believe in him, you're invested in him, you spent all this time with him and money, you know, you don't want to give up. You're holding on to that hope, that thin sliver of hope that it's going to happen, right? And that's
clearly you think he's got what you need. He knows what you need, and he must have the answer. So I'm going to protect him, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to have faith in him. I mean, he says all the right words, right? He quotes scripture and yet does not believe a word of it because he doesn't believe in Christ, doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe there's a higher power beyond himself. So it's just all the right words being said. That's what creates that hive mind that you're discussing.
Yeah. We as humans, see, I've been after him and the woman that was the catalyst for me knowing who he is and having anything to do with him, which subsequently led me into cult hopping. I went into, and I have autism and I have ADHD. So I hyper focus on something and I want to know what just happened to me. Why is this happening to me? So I did deep dives into cults, the psychology of cults. And we are a lot easier to program than we want to really believe. And when we face these types of situations, we really need to look into the mirror and do some shadow work as to what led me into these types of groups to believe in this person so easily. Why did I ignore? Was there any red flags? Why did I ignore them? Right? And we want to have hope. We want to have hope. So yeah, I'm glad this is all coming out and coming to a head. Absolutely.
And I
do
like
you
the
want
way
to
Floyd says, hey, you know what he's selling? He's selling hopium. And he's got
hopium?
everybody's
Yes.
eye on it. And he is exactly right. I mean, that is no better said anywhere than that right there.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's very seductive. It's very enticing to get drunk on it when you're in a group of people. And that's, you know, energy and frequency and resonance. You know, science is finally catching up to what the ancients have known because, like I said earlier, you can go back as far as I've been able to trace is Plato's cave. In the training, this type of cult training and the narcissistic training of the leaders to be able to learn a system and then go out and proselytize if you want to gain followers and members to be able to do that. It's very, very seductive, very enticing to be able to be a part of a community that has like a focused goal, right? What's the focused goal with him is, I would assume would be part of the law and helping people.
Yeah. I mean, we're built for relationshiping, right? I mean, that's just the way we're all built. We
tribal.
Thrive,
we're very tribal creatures.
Tribal, and we thrive within a like-minded community of anything. Like everybody that's hungry that shows up at the restaurant, we're we're all here for the same thing, right? Everybody's feeling hungry. We're coming to eat together. It's the same kind of movement, like the school of fish, right? And it is a form of trauma bonding. You mentioned that earlier, and that really struck a chord in me. Like, yes, that is true. It's a trauma bond.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very hard to heal from that, even after you break free and you realize, right, what happened, and you face it, and you take your gut punch and you're like, I got to take a look at that. But then you'll find yourself trying to reconnect with people that have this like-mindedness. Like, truly, there's got to be somebody else that's out here trying to figure all this out, right? Whatever this is. And you do run the risk of getting right back into the same kind of a loop situation. I haven't found anybody quite as evil as this particular individual we're discussing here tonight. And I've been through a lot of different groups, and Paul's been through a lot of different groups. We've kind of, traveled together through those, and JC, and, so there's no one quite as evil and intentionally evil and narcissistic is, I know that's overused a lot, that word, but truly no one like him in that regard.
Well, there's been an active act. It's, I believe in social engineering, and like all of this mayhem we're seeing going on in the world right now, all of it's been social engineered, in my personal experience, research, and opinion. And it's an active movement for narcissistic training since ancient times. And a lot of the paperwork that I've read, when you go into, say, what the CIA has released with the MK Ultra and Gateway Program projects, is what they said was no longer happening actually just went underground. And then you have Charles Manson, you have the Children of God cult. That one's like horrible. And it's like they brought in it seems like they brought in groups of people to give them this basic training, how to be a narcissist or how to run a group, because the hive mind cult group mirrors the narcissist in the actions and how they express themselves. And if you look at groups and subcultures that have rippled out since World War II, the cults have just, it's a hydra. You can think you've dealt with one. No. Two more will spring up, because you got two students, because Patrick could have somebody tucked up under him to just take things and run with it should he go down, and I'm not saying he does. It's just, something to think about, because these cult leaders rarely run solo for any long period of time.
Well, that's very interesting. Never even thought of that.
Yeah. I'm not saying he does. I have no proof that he does. I'm just saying, with my cult studies, I have rarely seen anyone running just solo. Yeah. Does anybody have any other stories that they would like to share before we get into Divine's screenshots and her files that we're going to be looking at? No, we got those. Okay. Are y'all ready? Are you ready, Divine? Are you with us there?
Yeah. I'm trying to pick up from where we left off. Let's see.
Okay. I'm going to have to share my entire screen. There's no telling what you might see. Just have to make sure I click the right one. Okay, I'm going in the right one. Okay, all the way up. And I think right here is where we said we were going to start.
Let's
And
see.
Floyd's back. Hello, Floyd.
Let me see if I can get to it on my end so I could read it.
Am I hot, Buffy?
Let's see. Where are you at?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. I
All
can hear you.
right. On the name change, all right, I'm going to break it off for everybody. I used to have a Telegram group called the Name Change Gang, where I gave all this information away for free, templates for the petition and decree to get your name changed, all the reasons why you should change your name. And you want to change it for one specific reason. You got pulled over when you were 16 years old. You got a traffic ticket. Your full name's Floyd Pleasant Tarvin IV, but the cop wrote Floyd Tarvin. You acquiesced to it. Now you have an alias. Next time, Floyd P. Tarvin, not Floyd Pleasant Tarvin IV. Now you got a second alias. And before you know it, you have a whole list of all these aliases that are registered with the city, the county, the state, federal government, FBI, et cetera, et cetera. So it's to correct the record because that's what you tell the judge. That's the only thing you tell the judge. He's going to ask you, why do you want to change your name? Honor my mother, honor my father, honor my creator, and to correct the record. Granted, have a nice day, Mr. Tarvin. That quick was my hearing. That quick was the second hearing I did for somebody else. That quick. That's it. So what you're doing is you want to get an exemplified copy, which is higher than a certified copy, which means you're getting a district judge representing the state and the county to sign off on it and prove everything that's in that decree that's already been signed by a judge. Then you take it and you go get it authenticated at your Secretary of State's office. Now you definitely have the whole state of Texas agreeing to it. Everything that's in it. Oh yeah, that's all. That's genuine. That's authentic. Then you send it to the Secretary or U.S. Secretary of State's office. Get it authenticated there. Now you have the United States in agreement with you. So everything that you have in your decree that this judge signed off on, the state of Texas signed off on, the United States signed off on, guess what? That's the record. That's what you can take anywhere and go, boom, there you go, double authenticated, exemplified decree straight from the state of Texas. Can't dispute anything on there. I don't have an alias anymore because this is the corrected record. This is who I am, really. So that's why you want to do your name change. You're able to put in there anything that you want to get a judge to agree with it. The judge is going to read it and he's either going to agree or disagree. He might say, yeah, well, I want to pull this out of here, or why are you asking for this, or why are you stating that, blah, 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 blah. That's why you want to do the name change. Patrick doesn't know that because Patrick's a fucking moron, okay? All you've heard about how his mind takes bits and pieces of legalese, throws it at you with a whole bunch of other shit to confuse you. And that's all he's going to do. Is people in a state of confusion. He's been doing it for years, and I've been telling everybody for years. It blows my mind. People are still sending this stupid idiot money. It blows my mind because I did videos. You know, you see the first email that he sent me. I did a show on the GSA bonds. He wanted to get off probation. He was living in his truck with his dog, that newly purchased guitar that he bought. And that was it, on his daddy's phone because he couldn't even afford a phone. You folks out there in La La Land have made that guy very, very, very wealthy. I mean, where he just spends stupid money, where he can go to Ford below $500 filing a case all over the country. So y'all need to stop doing that. Y'all need to hold this dude accountable. On the emails, okay? Everybody in the state of Texas, definitely for the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles, who are all appointees of the governor, the director of Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the executive director, the director of the parole division, all the way down to the regional director and the assistant regional director, which, hang on, I got to drop this chain. The assistant regional director, the director was ordered to have a little meeting with me and my parole officer, the office manager for my office, So me, the assistant regional director, my parole officer at the time, the ops manager, all sat in office, and we went down this litany of accusations made by Patrick Morano. And I told him at the very beginning, I said, he's not after me. He's going to try to hold you guys monetarily accountable. Watch. So we went down this list. We checked each one of them off one by one by one by one. And that's what I'm doing. Playing with half-ton motors. So we went down the list one by one. She just marked through them. We ended up all walking out of there laughing. So that was a couple of years ago. Now I did a video and he's come back and got me. When I did the Kevin Rafa video, that's when he came back and tried to sue me again. He contacted the parole board and parole division, all that again, blah, 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 telling them that I'm violating, I violated my parole because I'm violating this TRO that doesn't exist, never existed. The judge never signed it. It was never in any kind of full force and effect. I've never, ever been served. He hired a process server to find me. She called me. I had a conversation with her and told her, good luck finding me, because there's only 2 people on this planet who know where I live. My parole officer and my daughter. Nobody knows where I live. Nobody. You cannot find me unless I want you to find me. Okay? So, good luck with that. And I told her that, and I explained to her who she's trying to serve. I'm waiting on my upriggers. What I'm waiting on. So that's pretty much how that's going. I have not been served. Kevin has not been served. For those of you who don't know who Kevin is a homebound disabled veteran who has a hard time looking at smart device screens, i.e. his phone, laptop, tablets, that stuff, because it gives him migraines. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on. I was hoping Rue would pull out. Yeah.
Floyd, would you also
Yes.
could you also touch on the fact that we have both in the past noticed like this there was an uptick of people coming out of jail, prison, and becoming content creators or starting a drift, and it's like seems like it comes from some type of training or I don't know, scouting within that system to where when they come out, they're drifting.
Well, what happened is they come out, they get desperate, and they learn just enough to where they can sound like a guru. That's where Patrick was. Patrick didn't know shit. He jumped into the W4 sandwich group, which was Smoking Baby and I forget the other guy's name. He's kind of disappeared, fell off the radar. And then they got in a dispute in the W4 sandwich group about how to do it. And Lone Wolf peeled off, started his own little group, and they were doing the W4 sandwich. So while he was in that group, they were like, oh, well, we're going to go learn about subrogation and equity from Rourke and go take Rourke's seminar. We're going to have a Lone Wolf hoodie raffle selling these bullshit little fucking hoodies that you can go buy better ones at Walmart for $20 to pay for him and his admins to go to Rourke's seminar. I know Rourke. I sat across from Rourke on his birthday at a Mexican restaurant in Katy, Texas, after his seminar on a Sunday evening. Yes, I have. I've seen his books. I know exactly what they look like. When you go to the seminar, pay $1,500 a pop, he gives you this book. It's all cut and paste bullshit. Okay, subrogation does not work. Equity does not work. I've never seen it work. It's not a standalone issue. So that's where that came from, and that's all he's doing is just whatever's the latest and greatest. When LeFlore hooked up with me and we started doing the trust classes, before we even wrote a trust book, Patrick reached out to her and tried to take her away from me. He said, we can make a lot of money together, more money than you and Floyd can make. And she said no. So this is what he does, and this is how these people operate. And yes, Buffy's extremely correct because they have to have admins to back them up to keep you confused. Because he'll tell them one thing, they'll tell you another thing.
Mm-hmm. I think the other guy you're talking about is Derek. Is his name Derek or Eric? It's Derek or
Derek Gonzalez?
Eric? It's Derek Gonzalez. Yeah, I know that
Yeah.
he had run-ins with him as well.
Yeah, that's from Boris and all them, man. I know all these people. I've known them for years. That's why you don't see me pushing any of these processes, having these people on my show, because I've been doing this since 2013. I've been investigated by the Secret Service, FBI twice, U.S. Postal Inspector twice, and the IRS that I know of. Okay, when I got out of prison, the FBI came knocked on my door and asked about these guys that I was locked up with in prison that were using treasury drafts to go buy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, they came and found me, and I wasn't never a celly with these people. One of them, we met in the law library every now and then, but that was, just a casual acquaintance. It wasn't like we purposely met there to discuss anything. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I don't want to be a guru. Never wanted to be a guru. Never claimed to be a guru, because I don't have the answers. And if I had the answers, and I was able to have mailbox money, never any mailbox money, you people would never hear from me. Y'all be seeing videos of me fishing, scuba diving, living the life of Riley at a resort, all inclusive, bunch of strippers around me, just, giving me eye candy. That's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be online on social media trying to teach anybody anything. What the hell? I want to go enjoy life. I don't want to spend it arguing with somebody about what the full faith and credit on your authentication paper means, because all that means is the seal underneath has the full faith and credit. Not you, not the name, not the birth certificate. It's the seal annexed underneath. It's that simple.
Speaking of Social Security, Anthony says, so our SSN is the ID number of the trustee made by the federal corporation. I think it meant to be a question.
I don't know anybody who's accessed their trust account or anything like that. Never. It's what, 13 years I've been doing this now? Since 2013? Yeah. Never. If they have, they've never come forward. Now, I've heard a lot of people claim about this stuff. Oh, yeah, so-and-so did it, blah, 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 blah. But never seen it. Never seen a white card, never seen a black card. Now, I've discharged something before and got a rebate check. I could have used that, made a fortune. Look, everybody, here's proof, here's evidence. I could have made a shit ton of money, but that's not who I am, not what I'm about. I want the answers, and I have people in the background that I speak to, if not on a weekly basis, definitely a monthly basis. And we discuss all this stuff, and they're still pushing, still, trying to get to that point. And I keep telling them, good luck. Don't even tell me what the process is, because they'll tell you, yeah, Floyd, I think I got it. And I'm like, all right, well, when you get it, call me and explain it all to me. But until then, I don't want to hear a damn thing you got to say, because all you're going to do is just fill my head full of garbage. That's useless. So I don't even want to hear it. That's where I'm at.
Testman says that equity does work, just not fake guru equity.
Equity's nothing but relief. That's all equity is. If you did not ask for a monetary, or if monetary damages, whatever that looks like, okay, will not cover your harm, your injury, the court has the ability through law to provide an equitable relief to make you whole, whatever that looks like. Whether it's, I think we should give you the house. So we're going to give you the house too, aside from the money. Or we're going to give you the company. or we're going to give you stock dividends, or whatever it else looks like, something you didn't even ask for in your prayer for relief. That's what equity is. And it's up to the judge to be able to determine that and give it to you. Only the judge. And it's equitable relief. It's to make you equal, whole, when the structure of the legal machinations do not provide an avenue to become whole. Y'all understand that? Because you may not have asked for child custody in your prayer, but guess what? The judge gave you custody because that's what the judge thought would make you whole. Crazy,
Going back, yeah, going back to this mug shot. Do you know what his charges was for this one here?
Colorado, I do not. I learned more about my case that he filed against me tonight than I know.
Floyd, you don't know me, man, and I've watched a few of your videos. Can I ask you a question?
No, go ahead.
All right, you just name dropped that guy Boris. Is that the same guy that talked about the territorial jurisdiction?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think he's a fraud? Just curious.
No, I don't think he said he was a fraud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he said that.
Okay. I was just curious because I'm like, I just watched a lot of his videos and he seemed to he knows what he's talking about. He seemed to anyways, but I don't know. I'm still learning.
Who are you talking about, Mike?
Boris.
Okay.
Yeah. And he does these territorial jurisdictions with this guy named Lex. And they seem to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, Lex
I don't know.
amazing.
They all seem. So I mean, I don't want to get strayed along.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't think he said that they were fraud. I think he just said he knows Rourke and all those other guys. And then he named
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed when you're getting in the area of learning the laws, you have to have great discernment. Ooh.
Jevin, I was wondering if you noticed that Amy has joined us. And
yes, hi.
She would like to step up and tell her story. If you would call on her for that, please.
Okay. All right, Amy, go ahead. I'm going to make you. Is it okay if I enlarge you there for your story?
I think she's trying to unmute.
Okay, well, let's see. She's dropped in and out a couple of times. That's okay. Is she back? Okay, she's back. Hi.
Right. Hi. Hey, Amy.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome.
My Wi-Fi's a little. Thank you so much. My Wi-Fi's a little funky. I think it just keeps off and off.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invite, JC. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, mine. I feel like an idiot, honestly. I'm just pissed at myself that I went down this because, you know, everybody sounds so great and they know so many things and so many different layers that I don't know. And we're just trying to find relief, right? So I reached out to Patrick after my mom's foreclosure. And so he set up within 5 minutes, he had all my documents to file for the court and like a name change document. And so I'm going through this process of reading these documents, and I file the case, and then JC and I started digging, and it's like, it's not even on the record. You know, it wasn't. And then I learned that it was a private foreclosure, not a judicial, whatever that means. It was a non-judicial private foreclosure, so it's not even on the record. I have no idea how that affects the case, you know. And then we didn't even talk about how I was contacting the other side. Like, what am I supposed to do? Hey, you guys are up. Here's the case number. You know, and I freaking save lives for a living, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but I understand the principle, right? And so I'm going along with it. And finally, I'm just like, no, no, this is so unreliable. It's, he based the case off of them adjusting the amount of money in the escrow. And I'm like, have you read I haven't read the contract. I don't even know if it says that they can do that. You know, we're just assuming that they can't. And who knows if there's language in there that says that they can. You know, it was just so messed up from the beginning. And so I just cut it off and I just, you know, asked for my money back. Of course, he didn't give it to me. And then my case is just, I know, JC, don't fuss at me, but I haven't even pulled my case. Like I have so much disgust, you know, in my mouth, you know, from all of this that I'm just, it's just, there's so many fraudsters out there. There's so much BS out there. And like I said before, if anybody's actually gotten there, I can guarantee, I know, because I know people who know, and they've had to sign NDAs. So if anybody's teaching anything out there, it means they haven't gotten there yet. Simple as that. Because if they did, they had to sign an NDA and they cannot talk about it whatsoever. So that means, you know, everybody's got pieces and parts of the puzzle, but nobody's gotten there. And I'm so glad, like, you know, when I'm sorry, I don't know you, sir, but, you know, when I jumped on the call and you're like, equity doesn't work. And I was like, finally, that's exactly what I've been feeling and wanting to say out loud. It doesn't work. And even if it had the chance that it did, they're going to find a way, in my opinion, I could be wrong. They're going to find a way around giving that equity because that's the system that they built and that's the system that we're working in. And that's just been my experience. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for letting me express that.
We can't hear you, Jermaine.
Unmute, Jevon. You're muted, hon. We still can't hear you.
Yeah. We can't hear you. We can't hear.
Well, Amy, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
There we go.
There we are.
Sorry about that. My cat pushed a button on my mic. But thank you, Amy, and everyone for sharing your story. I'm glad that, you know, there is power in numbers and knowledge is power. And when you stand up against bullies, and that's basically all it boils down to, bullies, they get grounded. They get grounded well. So somebody said, Taskman said, so wrong. Equity does work when you bring equity. Both the fiction and the man of substance appears present on the record when you bring equity fact. I want to be honest with you. I just studied for like a year and I was so confounded. It was eating up so much of my life, my brain power and resources that I was like, you know what? I know Floyd. And if Floyd figures it out, I'm sure that he's going to help others figure it out. And I just couldn't let it consume my life anymore, you know, especially after I seen there were so many drifters in this area of the internet. Yeah.
So, you know, just to kind of clear up a couple of things regarding equity. Equity was built into the laws, statutes, to offer the relief that the law does not or cannot or did not provide. So equity follows the law. Everybody's heard that, right? Most of us have heard that. And what that translates to is when the law fails in an action where you're seeking relief, then equity prevails on behalf of and fills that void where the law failed. There was no relief that the law could provide in a certain situation. or a certain legal action. And then equity will step in and will fulfill that, that demand. So like Floyd was saying, so if you're not seeking a money demand, which the law can provide relief for, and you're seeking something else, like, well, you know, somebody stole my cow, you know, and it was my prized cow. And I just couldn't even imagine to put a dollar amount on the cow. Can't go for the going rate on my cow. My cow is, you know, got golden hooves or whatever. And so she took my cow and I want my cow back. Well, she sold the cow. She sold the golden hooves. It's steak and hamburger now. So we can't give you your cow back. We'll pay you for it. No, I don't want to be paid for it. I want my cow back. Right? So equity steps in and says, we have to figure out a way to fulfill whatever this cow value was, right? And so equity will operate like that, but it always comes after the law fails. So all of these gurus that come in with, hey, you know, go in with equity, and then it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and people have exhausted, you know, they're sending in files this big to 9 judiciaries. They've already gone through the, you know, the appellate and district this and that, and they've got all the way to the Supreme Court, and they've got their, you know, writ of certiorari up in front of the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court's like, denied. And then they come back with statements like, well, they couldn't see me because I came in equity. Well, no, you're telling yourself a tale. You're making excuses for the fact that the way that you came in was not equitable in the first place because you didn't come in pursuant to the laws and the statutes and the codes that govern the people that you're seeking relief from. So you have to let the law fail you before you can invoke equity, right? And it's already built in there. In every wherefore clause, in most, across our nation, and in some others, in that wherefore clause, it states, I seek relief, you know, for this, that, and the other, my demand, and whatever else the court deems appropriate and equitable. That's what that means, that equity is there. Mm-hmm. It's always there. So there might be ways of utilize, and that's totally the legalese version of it, because, you know, that's what I did as my profession for many years. So there might be other ways, and yeah, we're all trying to learn, you know, new and great things about that. But I haven't found anybody that can explain it to me that makes a bit of sense for me to walk into a courtroom with that strapped over my shoulder, like, slam it down here, and I brought my equity, and hot damn, you're going to give me everything I ask for, and it's not going to cost me a thing. I haven't found that yet. So
Yeah.
when I do, I'll let you know.
Can I just interject a thought that something just runs around my head in this whole, like it's an overlay, okay? Like I understand equity, I understand the principle of it. I understand that it closes the gap, you know, where the law fails. I get all that. I believe all that. But what's on the other side of that is the people who are, you know, their job is to provide the equity. They're corrupt in the first place.
They will find a legal, like you said, they will find something somewhere in this vast,
right.
I mean, there is a plethora of, why do you think they have like so many? It's not just statutes. It's, you got municipal codes, you got this, that, everywhere you look, there's something that they'll be like, well, this.
They'll totally find their way out.
We have this law on the book, and so sorry, No.
Sorry. And that person's invested their whole life studying, not their whole life, but you know what I mean, a lot of time and energy and money in doing this, and it's not received. And I just had to turn away and just say, I actually have to live my life and buy my children food and pay my car insurance. So I have to put my energies into that so we can sustain ourselves.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. As much as I love the idea and principle that we can stand up and that we have that option, it's run by a corrupt system.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
bottom
you and I
line.
had a real long conversation about that, didn't we?
Mhm.
And just to explain for anybody else that might be confused about a judicial foreclosure as opposed to a non-judicial foreclosures, I'm not sure what state yours was in, but like Colorado is a non-judicial foreclosure state. And it just means that the foreclosure doesn't go through like a regular courtroom type thing, like Jessica was describing and talking about. It goes through the county trustee holds the power with the trustee's deed, right? So that'll be a different deed that's at the closing table that you sign. And so it all goes through this county courthouse. The trustee of the county holds the sale, pushes the attorneys push the paperwork through there, and they can put an ad in the paper, and that's about all the notice you're getting, and that's a non-judicial. Whereas a judicial is more formal with, service and procedures, and just procedurally it's different. And that's about the only difference. And sometimes non-judicials are harder on people because you're waiting for something that looks like a normal court action, and it's not. It's just like, what? All of a sudden, what? Who do I call? Who do I talk to? And anybody can stop a foreclosure proceeding with a simple notice of intent to cure. It'll get you a full accounting from the attorney. It'll get you an automatic stay on the sale. Everything comes to a screeching halt with one little piece of paper that anybody can prepare themselves, and then you catch your breath and you figure out, okay, do they have the right numbers? Let me look at my accounting. Let me look at their accounting. Is everything kosher? Is everything on the up and up here? And it'll get you a breath at least, so you can kind of make a decision, at least an informed one, So I just wanted to share that in case anybody's going through that. You can do that for yourself.
I'm gonna call for a 5-minute break. I'm gonna run to the restroom. We've been going for 2 hours, so if anybody else wants to take a break, and we will be back, or I will be back. If you all want to keep talking, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be back.
Same here. BRB.
Hey, I'm going to try to get this screen to share. And then when Susie gets back, Divine gets back. Okay, you're back. Hold on a sec. Share. I have to share my whole screen, entire screen. I'm gonna look at. It always pulls up that one picture. It's so funny. This one. Let's see. I need to remove this one of Patrick. What is going on? I have to remove another media stream. What's going on? There we go. It's going to come up. There we go. Yay, I got it. Okay. All right. So what is the preface of this one? Let's see.
I think if we can scroll down a little bit, yeah, I didn't mean to send that one. Well, I mean that one, it's not really that important, that one. I'm trying to catch up to you. If we could scroll down to let's see, the complaint to the California Attorney General. Scroll.
Okay. This one was from Patrick.
Oh yeah, that one actually. Let me scroll up. So
you want to read that? You want to go to that one? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It says here, I saw your resignation. I'm sorry you didn't learn equity acts and personam, which is not true because I posted notice in his room to not only him but to everybody in his room. You were paid for a service and me. Let me see. You were paid for a service to people and me you have not fulfilled. You are the liaison to these people who you were paid for. That's the primary reason you don't give notice to people emotional response and not tell the person who paid you for them. You need to figure your shit out. So, and then here he says, I'm finding things out that you and I never spoke about. You need to get in touch somehow and fix this problem before it gets bigger. You have already accepted payment from me. Where's the rest? From me. If you're calling me dishonorable, you cannot maintain that position while accepting the accounting. So you have to decide what you're going to do. I don't care how long I've known you. I will resolve this matter for the ministry and its purpose. I never stopped doing what I do every day. What stopped was the help you were, the help while you were being paid. I will give you 3 days to respond to this in writing before I proceed in equity.
Oh my gosh. So can I ask a question? What ministry are we talking about?
So he calls it the Lone Wolf Pack Ministry, but he changed that to the ministry about a year ago. Prior to that, he was
so it's like like he started like a church,
a private ministry under a 508 C1A.
Okay.
And yeah, that's
he calls it private unincorporated ministry, but that doesn't absolve him from the requirement to register it in the state that he's operating, which is Colorado, and it's unregistered. I mean, he admits that, right, JC?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and if you go to his website, so for example, his website he'll tell everybody it's a ministry, you made a donation, but his website says otherwise. Right. And if it's a ministry, then where the congregation and where's the meeting minutes and where's the, I mean, so you're saying we have a share? Do we have a share to this? I mean, if we're the ones contributing to it, right? It's
Right. Yeah.
it's pretty wild. I've always stuck up for Patrick. Him and I were pretty close, but I seem